Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us again on another Tuesday Talks podcast. I am your co host, Dan from Pekoe Mortgages. Pekoe Mortgages is an online digital mortgage brokerage, and we help Canadians coast to coast in getting mortgages and getting you into your home. Harris?
Yeah, and I'm your co-host Harris. I'm a lawyer at Treadstone Law. We're digital lawyers helping Canadians all over Ontario purchase, sell, and refinance their home. And we have experience in all types of properties, and we do our closings completely online. So you don't leave your home to close your home.
Thank you, Stephanie, for joining us. Stephanie is a realtor in the, I guess, Golden Triangle or KW
Yeah.
Cambridge area. Um, and yeah, she's joining us today to talk a little bit about herself, the market, maybe what's going on in 2022, and all that good stuff. So thank you for joining us, Steph.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's start off. What's your favorite dish? Because I know you're a big cook. You love cooking. So
Yeah.
what's your go-to?
That's hard. Honestly, anything like pasta related, I would say, is
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
like my go-to. Like you can't go wrong with pasta.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm clearly I love my pasta, and the I did actually a pretty mean eggplant parmesan, and I think I deserve a pat on the back for that one. That
Yeah.
was pretty good too. Yeah, I grew up with a lot of Italians, so doing Christmas and New Year's around Italian families is just it's next level. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I missed that. Anyway, okay, so good. We got a pasta lover here, Steph. So you know that in this type of market has been very challenging for both buyers and also, I guess, sellers in some ways in getting into real estate. And you were one of the first realtors I actually connected with when I moved out from Toronto to KW a couple of years ago. And even in just those 2 years of being out here, seeing the growth and seeing the difference in this area has just kind of blown me away. So for someone that like you, you've been in the community a lot longer than I have. Maybe you can speak a little bit on that, and also how you got to get into real estate. Like, what was your push into it? So let's start with your take on the market, and then for some reason, I have a tendency to do this. I start with, "What are you doing today?" and then I get into,
Yeah.
"Where
There's a
did you come
laundry
from?"
list of
But
questions.
man, okay, all right, Harris, keep me on
All
track,
right,
please.
let's start with the market. So how is the market in KW from your perspective?
Honestly, for a lack of a better word, it's just insane. Like we have seen appreciation month over month, historically higher than it's ever been. So I feel bad for buyers out there, especially first time buyers, because it is a lot harder than it was even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't know. It's not a bad market. Like it's definitely great for sellers. It's still there's still opportunities out there for buyers. You just have to make sure you're looking in the right spots. I was actually just going over the monthly numbers, and then we do them weekly with our office, and we were just chatting about them actually yesterday. And there's gaps with throughout the region where there are opportunities out there. You just have to know what to look for. So I don't see it slowing down. I know everyone's always talking about a crash and a bubble bursting and, oh, I'm just going to wait. And honestly, like the longer you wait, the harder it gets because it just continues to appreciate. We have seen a bit more inventory. So I do think things might shift and it might become a little better than it is, but that doesn't mean prices are going to decrease.
So you're
right.
saying instead of houses going up 25% year over year, they're going to go up 15% or something.
Yeah, like it just might be a bit of a slower appreciation.
Yeah.
But honestly, I always say, like, I mean, I'm biased because I'm a realtor, but I think real
Yeah.
estate's one of the best investments.
Yeah, I totally agree with you too. Harris and I had talked about this yesterday because um, we were chatting about inflation, right? And so in December we had inflation of 4.8%. January's numbers came out; it was 5.1%. We're trending upwards. Our money's not going as far as it used to.
Yeah.
And one of the safe bets is to get into real estate. And I think the longer you kind of stay on the sidelines, the more difficult it becomes. Like I worked with people 10, 15 years ago, even years ago, Harris and I worked together. And,
Yeah.
you know, we had people back then saying, we're going to wait for the market to
Yeah.
correct. And it's never really, it's never
I mean,
really
as of
had that
now,
happen.
I feel like real estate is the safest investment you can make because it's where like savings accounts don't work anymore. They stopped working after 2008 when there was just inflation and everything kind of went up and those interest rates went down. Then people are kind of moving into government bonds. But if a government bond's giving you a 2% return and inflation's at 5%, you're still losing 3%
Right.
a year. So you have to kind of look
Yeah.
at which investment can I make, which is accessible. You can generate cash flow potentially. You could maintain value, sell it possibly, and get some kind of reasonable return. And I feel like the safest one in that kind of risk profile is real estate right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you're saying that even within the markets that you're looking at, 25% may be the bump in certain neighborhoods, but it hasn't increased that much in all the neighborhoods. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So looking at it, like we usually just space it out, KW, so Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge, and Guelph,
Yeah.
and then the townships. Right now, Guelph and Waterloo are like median sale price for a detached is 1.1, 1.2, which last year it wasn't. It was like 900.
Oh, wow.
So it's just
Insane.
been crazy. But then if you look at Cambridge, Cambridge has always been a bit more affordable. And they're lagging. So there's room to grow in the detached market in Cambridge. There's room to grow even from townhouses to detached in Cambridge. Like there's not a big gap between them. It's about like $50,000 difference to buy a town versus a home.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right. Like it's definitely gonna increase.
So are you saying?
Now,
Yeah.
I think detached in Cambridge is gonna go up.
It's gonna go up. I'm assuming it's gonna go up faster than the detached is gonna go up faster than the townhomes. The townhomes are still gonna go up. It's just they're not gonna go up as quickly. Is that right?
Yeah, because people will see like, oh well, if I can get a 50,000 extra, why not get it detached?
Yeah.
You know, like that. Most people prefer that. It really depends on your lifestyle though and your affordability. But you know, normally when something's cheaper, right? Like I have a lot of buyers I work with that it's like, well, you know, if you just expand your location a bit, you can get a lot more for your money, right?
Yeah.
So people want Kitchener-Waterloo, but Cambridge isn't that far and it's a lot cheaper and you can get more. People are going to start gravitating towards Cambridge just because they can get in the market that way, which will then.
But why hasn't Cambridge gone up as much as Kitchener and Waterloo? Like why don't people want to stay in Cambridge?
So Cambridge has increased a lot over the past few years, and it's due to like those GTA buyers because Cambridge is so close to the 401. But people locally, so Guelph and KW, I don't know what it is. There's this stigma, I think, when it comes to Cambridge. Like I personally live here. Like I'm living in my first house I bought. We're going on 4 years now, and we didn't even want to live in Cambridge. Like we were like, well, let's live in Guelph because that's where I was like born and raised. That's where my husband was from. But based on the budget, we could get a lot more in Cambridge. So we compromised on location. And I mean, we're fine here. We like it.
But is it a sense of attachment, or do you think like maybe Cambridge, I don't know, like the transportation isn't good, the nightlife isn't good, the restaurants are good? Like what's the...
I do think it's a bit of a lifestyle change. So Cambridge is essentially 3 own little townships, and no one has ever really walked away from that. Like they created Cambridge and it's supposed to be we're all the same, but it's like no, there's Galt, there's Hespeler, and there's Preston. And if you're in Hespeler, you're like, I like Hespeler. I don't want Galt or Preston, and vice versa. So specific areas.
It's like tribal warfare.
Yeah.
Within a town.
So each little one has their own downtown.
Yeah.
But they're very quiet and more township like, I would say, than like downtown Kitchener is.
Right.
So it is a lifestyle thing, but I think it's also, I don't know, it's just if you're locally from here, you like where you live, and like people are very like loyal to where they live, you know? Like so many people in Guelph they're Guelph lifers. Like they live in Guelph, they love Guelph, they want to stay there.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, so we've got obviously part of this whole market is we've got a chokehold on supply, right? And I know a little bit about here in Kitchener. Recently, there was a new sort of tiny house backyard dwelling slash laneway housing bylaw that was passed or something where it would allow these additional dwellings. Okay, I want to get you. I don't know if you've been watching it too carefully, but I kind of want to get your opinion on. Do you think this is going to help in any way with the housing situation? Do you think it's going to push up maybe the pricing of some properties that are eligible to put a secondary dwelling in? Because I know in Toronto, the initiative for laneway housing has been a huge push, and they did a pilot project. I've got a few friends that are architects there, and it's just blown up their business because it's created not only sort of a solution for the supply issues, but it's also it's helped create sort of secondary income for people that could create a laneway house on their property. It does create a challenge, obviously, for financing because banks are still trying to figure out how to deal with it. But what's your take on this coming to Kitchener?
Yeah, so it was actually like an Ontario mandate, and they said each city has to come up with their own bylaws to somehow include this. So every city's kind of done their own take on it. Waterloo said, yes, we'll allow it, but based on the criteria, I think it's 7 streets in all of Waterloo that have the capability to do this because they have those laneways.
Wow. Yeah.
Kitchener's made it a lot easier. So they really made the rules be, well, most properties will be eligible, or a lot of properties will be eligible. So if that's something you wanted to do, you would obviously want to look in Kitchener rather than Waterloo.
Right. Yeah.
Cambridge also hasn't finalized their rules. And they have a document. Like if you go on all of the city websites, you can see what the mandates are for those bylaws. In Cambridge they have like what they would suggest, and it's based on what Kitchener has done, what Waterloo has done, and what Guelph has done. And they're kind of taking little bits of each to make it work. But to your question about what I think is going to happen with it, the purpose was to make more affordable housing. I don't know if it'll truly make things more affordable. I think it will increase properties that have done it, like it'll increase their value. But I think it could be beneficial to people in the market who, if you have a house that you're able to do this, you can get the funds to do it. You could then rent it out and it'd be like a mortgage helper. And then if you were to sell your property, it's
right. Yeah.
So I think it's good for investors. It's good for people who want a mortgage helper if you have the capability to do it. But I don't know if it's really going to make things more affordable, because I don't think people are going to be severing their lots and selling just these tiny homes as home dwelling. You know,
that's going to get expensive. I don't think it's feasible. But yeah, like if you could put something up and like somebody pays you whatever it would go for, $500,000 a month, that goes a long way towards your mortgage.
What? How much?
No, for rent.
Oh, okay.
If you could build it for $1,000, man, I'd be building it right now.
Yeah. No, and that exactly. And I think in Waterloo, you just said 7 streets. That's
because they really didn't want to do it, but it was a mandate that, well, you have to include it somehow. So that's how they got around it. Was, well, okay, these roads have these laneways, you can do it here, and that's it.
Yeah, I think Waterloo, don't they have requirements too that you have to be licensed if you're doing short-term rentals? I think there was something to do when we were shopping, we were looking at Kitchener-Waterloo, and someone had stated if we were looking to do rentals, one, you had to get some sort of license for it, or there was something that Kitchener, if you bought in Kitchener, you didn't have to go through the same hoops.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's about?
It's definitely something along the lines of a license. I do think it was
Yeah.
recently something was changed, so I don't want to say exactly what it is and have it
Right. Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot more hoops
To go through.
Waterloo if you want to rent than Kitchener. There's just something about Waterloo where they really don't want like a rentals or investor heavy. Like Kitchener's very investor heavy, especially with like the
Right.
downtown core and the tech sector. And Waterloo's more like, no, this is our family community, and we don't want
Right.
student rentals. We don't want outsiders. Like it's just the way that Waterloo operates.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So where are you finding most of your buyers? Are they first-time home buyers? Are they looking for investment properties? Like, what are you noticing?
I've
And what
noticed
do you specialize in?
it's first time buyers.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of people in my office who like are like, why do you love working with first time buyers? Because traditionally, like it's hard for them to get in the market. You're usually looking a lot longer than if you're with an investor. Like they have easy cash flow. It's easy for them to find viable
Right.
properties.
Yeah.
But I just love that helping first time buyers because they really are. It's so overwhelming, and like I know what it's like to buy your first property, and there's just so much coming at you that I don't know. I have a soft spot for them. I feel bad, and I just want to help them. And like I really believe that home ownership is possible for everyone. And I have so
Yeah.
many people my age who are like, I'm never gonna own a home. Like it's ridiculous because they see, how expensive the market is, and it
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
affordability is a real issue. But I don't know. I think there are a lot of creative ways and solutions that you can still get a property and set yourself up for the future.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I like first time buyers. I help a lot of them. But I do help investors and people who are, moving on, moving up, downsizing, things like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of it right now is first time buyers. And I think COVID's pushed a lot of people too, because like, especially people are now working from home. And if you're living with your parents or you're renting and you have loud neighbors or you have roommates, like a lot of that, people are like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I want my own space.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You
you're
can only take so
also
much of it.
you're also in essence freezing your rent because as properties have gone up in value, rents have gone up. So when you buy, you kind
Right.
of lock in that payment in a
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the biggest, I guess, mistake first time home buyers make in your experience?
I'd say the biggest mistake when you're looking is they're very close-minded, and like they'll walk in and it's a fixer-upper or it just needs
They need a
a
little bit of vision.
TLC, but yeah, and they're
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
no, 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 because especially if you're living at home, like your parents are probably, if they've been in this house 10, 15 years, they've renovated it,
Yeah.
it's to their taste, you're
Right.
used to
Right.
living like that, and then you walk into something that it's older or I don't know, it doesn't show well. And it's like you just have to have a little vision. You can make it your own. Like I don't know, I think it's better to find a property that needs a bit of work that you can do to your taste. Because if you go into a property that the kitchen's been fully renovated, but you absolutely hate it, but it's brand new, a lot of the times you're like, well, I don't want to touch it. Like it's brand new.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
make it brand new again, but to what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
Just
say that it needs a little bit of a touch up, what do you mean by that? Is it like it needs a paint job, or am I talking like brick, putting down a wall and kind of extending the whole thing?
No, so that would be a lot more work. I always ask my clients what you're willing to do, and I find as they start to look, sometimes they loosen up a bit and they're like, okay, maybe I'm open to replacing floors or open to just giving things a facelift, even not even like replacing kitchen cupboards, but maybe painting them and just like making things a little nicer. But it really depends on the person. Like I've had people who are like, I don't want to do anything other than paint if I have to. And it depends on the house.
Yeah, I it's funny we're on this topic because so I did a short YouTube video for first time home buyers, and in the video, one of the things I had mentioned, I noticed this too, vetting clients, is that you're not going to find your Instagram home. You know, a lot of people
Yeah.
think that they're gonna get the keys and it's gonna
Yeah.
be everything and more. And you kind of have to, exactly what you said, you know, you have to understand that maybe the first home isn't going to be your forever home. And it's so important because I think psychologically too, you can get beaten down. Like I've been in the game for a while, you know, but even when we were buying our house, I was just like, I felt like, okay, we have to compromise in so many different things, whether it's area, you know, location, backyard, whatever it was. But at the end of the day, I think you hit it like right on the head there, where, you know, you can make it your own and then make it feel like home. You just have to kind of be open to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, good point.
It's, yeah, I was gonna say definitely like it's easy to get discouraged very quickly,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
it. But yeah, there's hope.
yeah, yeah. So Harris, I don't know if you're not too active on social media, but I know Stephanie's very active. Instagram, you're always coming out with great content. And are you on TikTok too?
No,
No.
I joined it, and then I think I posted a couple videos. Like I would just repurpose like my Instagram one
Right.
to TikTok,
Yeah.
and one went, I don't know if it's viral. It was like 236,000 viewers. And it was like one of my very first reels.
How much?
236,000 views.
Like
Yeah.
a quarter of a million.
Hey, Stephanie, you're on to
Pretty
something
near.
here. Hold up.
No, but then what I did, so then I gained a couple followers, but only like I think 400, something like that. And then I posted a couple videos, and it was just like crickets, like 2 views, nothing. Where I don't know, I find Instagram's more personable, and like it's
Right.
people I actually have worked with before, and like people in your inner circle, and TikTok's just worldwide, so it's just gonna end up on whoever's page. And then I just kind of stopped, and then I like went and deleted the video. And now I'm like, I don't know why I did that. Like it had so many
Wait,
views.
you deleted the video with the 230,000?
236.
Yeah, I just deleted it because then I feel like it was like robot followers, and like then you get like the trolls commenting, and I was just like, I'm never on this app, and I just got deleted the video.
You know, it's interesting because there's so many different platforms you can use to get your voice out there, right? In fact, you know, Harris and I using a podcast is a great way to just kind of talk about the industry. And I never would have thought that TikTok could have been used for anything other than dancing videos and, you know, silly stuff. But the reality is, I was actually listening to a podcast this morning. It's called I Love Mortgage Brokering, and they had on a gentleman who's created a massive following, and all he's doing is providing, you know, these short snippets of advice and getting tons of leads and tons of qualified folks that are really interested in learning more about the financing part. And for you to speak on 236,000 views on that, you're right though. You know, you're going to have obviously a global audience, but you can always push them over to your Instagram stuff too. I'm glad you're still posting on there, because a lot of the stuff I do, it's a lot of good insight, and it's a great way to kind of check in with what's going on locally without having to, I don't know, read something or call someone up, and you get it right in front of you. So that's awesome.
I mean, it does. I feel like you have to be in touch with Instagram and all this other stuff because, like Stephanie said, a lot of these people coming in, they're like, I want an Instagram house. You at least know like what they're looking at and kind of you have some kind of information as to what their expectations are, and then you bring it down.
Yeah. That's always a tough part. Okay, so craziest buyer seller story. You don't have to name names. In fact, I recommend you don't. But
just their email address.
Do you haven't? Yeah, just email. We'll throw the phone number up on the screen. No, but seriously, has there been anything crazy that because you've been in real estate for a while here. Has anything jumped out?
Well, I've had like a lot of crazy, I guess, either clients or like something happens. So I don't know what kind of story you're looking for. Like I've had
Like, did you do like a
What
let's say an
sticks
open
out?
house
What's the sticks
and
out the most? So,
okay,
oh, sorry,
right,
sorry.
well,
Go
it's
ahead.
not
no,
necessarily
no,
like clients or the transactions. But it's been like things that happen when you're showing houses or like when you're closing. So I had one time I booked a showing. It was actually with, well, I guess I shouldn't say the clients were like close. I'm close with these clients. So I was like, thank
It
goodness
was
this
John
happened.
from Toronto.
Yeah. I was like, thank goodness this happened with you guys and like not someone you're meeting for the first time or something. So I booked this showing. It's confirmed. I spoke with the agent directly. So like a lot of it's you book just online. There's like apps and stuff. But then I actually spoke with the listing agent, like confirmed the showing. Everything's good. But it was an early showing. So normally most people don't go to a house before like 9 a.m. And this was 8:30 because we were going like before work and stuff. So we get to the house. There's one car in the driveway, but we're like, well, like we have a showing. People have multiple cars, like whatever. I knock. I always knock before I go in just to make sure like there's not another showing going on. There's no one home. I knock. No one answers. I'm like, all right. I get the key out of the lockbox. I open the door. We look at the whole first floor. Like we're walking through the house. I'm turning on lights, reviewing it. We go down to the basement. We have our full showing. We go back upstairs to then go to the next floor where the bedrooms are. And every bedroom door is closed. And it's just like really dark. And I was like, okay, well, sometimes people close their doors, pets or whatever.
Oh.
So then I'm knocking. I'm like, hello. No one answers. So then I like go to open this bedroom door and I just hear like snoring. Like all of a sudden I just started hearing snoring and I looked at my clients and was like, oh my God. Like someone is here. They're sleeping. Like I feel like I'm breaking and entering right now. It just was not a good time.
Wow,
That buildup was
did you
insane.
wake
I
him up?
thought like, there's gonna be somebody holding an axe or something
Oh,
behind the door.
Yeah, I know. All the
No,
doors
just
are closed, the lights are off.
a snoring homeowner.
Wow. So did you make them breakfast? Did you like turn the lights off?
No, we got out of there. And then I like told the
Yeah.
agent like, I had a showing. I thought they knew we had a showing. Like, so to this day I don't even know
Yeah.
if they know I was in the house, which
Wow.
like freaks me out. The agent knows, so like I'm assuming they told the homeowners, but I really don't know.
Did the
Yeah.
clients make an offer?
Wow, that's wild.
No.
They couldn't see the rooms upstairs. It makes sense. Why would you?
Yeah.
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 Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. Where do you want to go
No,
from
I just
here,
want to
Harris?
know. I guess the next thing, and we started off with this, and I guess this could be like kind of our last little bit, is more about yourself. So why did you become a realtor? I know on your profile, I think I read you said that like most people become a realtor as their second career. For you, is your first, right?
Mhm.
So what made you want to become a realtor? Why was it kind of like your first choice?
So it was actually when I was a kid. My parents were selling like their home, our home. And they took us to all of the open houses and stuff because I don't know, honestly, I don't know why they did that because I was 12. So my sisters were like 14 and 16. So it's like you're taking teens, preteens who are very opinionated. We're all girls. Like that sounds like a nightmare now as me being a realtor, like having all of these extra opinions. Like we're not the ones buying the house, it's the parents buying the house. But anyways, my parents brought us and they would like get our opinions on all of the houses, like making sure we liked it. And I absolutely loved doing that. And then the agent that my parents used, she's actually still a realtor today. I loved her. Like I looked up to her and was like, oh my God, this girl is so cool. Like I want to do what you do. And I was just 12. And that's what started it was I was just like, I think this is a really cool career. And then all throughout high school, I was like, yeah, like I think I still want to do real estate. And then I went to university because it's just what you do. Like it was just ingrained, like you go get a higher education. And my whole 4 years there, my first year I went as like undeclared, just general. And then every year I would take new different classes to like try to figure out what I was interested in, because none of it really appealed to me.
Right.
And then, yeah, so like I was about third year, fourth year, like I was about to graduate, and I was like, I still want to do real estate. So then when I graduated, like that summer, I just started taking the courses. So I don't know what it was specifically, other than I was just this little 12-year-old who was like, you have a cool job.
So what
That's
did
kinda
you
cool.
major in your undergrad?
So I was undeclared all the way until third year. And then when in third year is when you like apply for your graduation. And the school said you can't apply undeclared, like you can't graduate undeclared. And I was like, I can't. Oh, so I just went through the classes I already had, and because I wanted to stay 4 years. Like I was like, I don't want to extend my time. I want to graduate in my planned 4 years. So I ended up graduating with a major in film studies and then a minor in creative writing, because for film, like I took first year film, and then that was it. Like I just took the introduction to it. And then I found out that's the only prerequisite you need to do any other film class. So to be able to get all the credits within 4 years, I just had to get a couple more film classes. And I think I did like 3 classes online, maybe like throughout the summer, just to make sure I could still do the 4 years. And I like writing. Like I always liked English and stuff. So I just had those creative writing classes already. And I only needed a few more to like have the minor in it. So that's what I ended with. I don't use it. It's not what I planned to go for at all. But yeah, so it's just like a Bachelor of Arts in film and creative writing.
I mean, well, communications, you could use that in anything though. Like with becoming a realtor, you really need communication, because like I've seen a lot of, without naming names, professionals who kind of can't explain what they're showing. And if you can't explain it, if you can't understand who you're talking to, it's difficult to get the buyers on board, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, like you said, when their expectations are high, and especially if they've got 3 girls with them, it's like too much going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, and you know, it's that was one of the things I noticed when we had sat down and talked to Stephanie, is that you're very very easy to talk to. I can see why first-time home buyers want to work with you, because it's like you take a lot of stress off. And we've worked on a few client files together as well too, and it's just resounding. Everyone loves working with you, and it's a testament to, you know, how good you are and what you do. And I don't think that just comes overnight. It comes with hard work, dedication, and loving what you do. So I think you're definitely in the right profession. I think it was great having you on our podcast. We're not, like I said, we're not totally polished here, but you know, it's been great to have you on, Steph. Harris, again, do you have any closing thoughts on anything here? Do you want a recipe or two? Because I'm sure Stephanie's got a couple recipes. Yeah. Anyway, again, thank you for joining us on the podcast, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Take care.
Nice.